In this exercise, we'll look at some of the options available when using multiple water supplies in a design. Here we have a simple design with two water supplies. There are 12 valves in this design. Each valve is a big gun with a 0.7 nozzle and a flow of about 115 gallons a minute. So this is really a valve and head system, and it has been fed by two water supplies, one for each line of 6 guns. So we'll design this one way and look at the results. So let's set up the system flows, and we will choose 4 system flows. And we will have 2 system flows for each water supply. This water supply and these 3 guns or valves we will assign to system flow 1. The water supply and these 3 will go to system flow 2. In the bottom section, this water supply and these 3 will go in system flow 3. And again, this water supply and these 3 will go in system flow 4. So we have 4 system flows, and each water supply is fairly independent. Let's run through the design. And we've sized the pipes, and we can look at the reports. And we see that the flow for each system flow is 345 gallons a minute, and the pressure required is about 66 psi. The significance of this particular layout is that the water supplies are not shared to all 12 big guns. The top water supply supplies water to 2 system flows, 3 guns each, and the bottom water supply supplies water to 2 system flows, 3 guns each, and they are not mixed. These guns here do not receive water from both system flows. So the systems are independent, and we can design them as normal. Let's see what happens if we connect these systems and share flows from the water supplies. We had 2 water supplies working 3 guns each at the same time. So now we're going to clear management and set up the management so that we have 6 guns running in 2 system flows. So this water supply and this water supply will operate these 3 big guns and these 3 big guns on system flow 1 with a flow of about 690 gallons a minute. Both water supplies again will supply flow to these 6 guns, and that will be system flow 2. So we have a mixture of guns and water supplies feeding into the same system flows. Let's design it and see what happens. We get an error saying that we can't do it because pressures haven't been entered for the water supplies. And that's what happens when we have this type of system. So what we need to do is remove the calculate pressure check on the water supply and put a pressure in here, let's say 70 psi in both options. And we will do the same for the bottom water supply. Remove the calculate pressure check and fix the pressure at 70 psi. Now let's design the system and see how it goes. So now it has been designed. We can look at the reports. And we can see that each water supply is supplying flow to each system flow. The pressure has been fixed at 70 psi, and this is the flow from each water supply going into that system. We'll try one more variation on this particular system, and we will put pumps in line just downstream of water supplies. So under the mainline menu we have pumps, and there is one that is approximately 350 gallons a minute at 70 psi, and we will put one downstream of this water supply and downstream of this water supply. And we will also change the pressure at the water supply, let's say to -3 psi. So for example, the pump is pulling water out of a canal, and the same here. So in this example we have a water supply with -3 psi going into a pump, which is going to boost the pressure, and the same thing is happening here. According to the database, the pump curve exists in the database, and IRRICAD is forced to follow that pump curve. Each of these big guns is a nozzle and has a curve of flow versus pressure. So in this example, we're going to generate a system flow report. We will run the design once more. We will get some warnings to make sure that we haven't placed those pumps within a loop. And we have some negative pressure pipe warnings for those sections of pipe in here, but we know that's probably going to be a vertical section of pipe. And now when we look at the reports, mainline design reports and system duty report, we see that we have -3 psi and a flow of 345 gallons a minute. And for system flow 2, again, both pumps are putting in the same amount. We can check what is arriving at each of these guns. And this is the pressure arriving at each of the guns. In system flow 1, 6 guns are being operated, and this, according to the pump curve and -3 psi at the water source, this is the pressure arriving at each of the guns in system flow 1. And this is the pressure arriving at each of the guns in system flow 2. So that gives you some examples on how water supplies can be used when you have more than one, and what pumps can do for you to add a pump curve and system flow curve into the design.